Welcome to Norfolk Perspective City Slice. I'm Bob Batcher. The city of Norfolk has a rich, rich history, but an awesome future ahead of us. And what do the two have to do with each other? If we know our history, if we appreciate what's in that history, then we can really plan for the future. And you can't really talk about the history of Norfolk, especially the 20th century history, without talking about the Azalea Festival. Now, some of you will say, oh yeah, I remember that. And some of you will say, what the heck was that? I know NATO Fest. And thanks to people sitting here on the sofa, we're going to be able to talk about that and really explore it. And I got it to Trish Carrier, Executive Director for Norfolk NATO Festival. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Pretty good. And I do want to talk to you about the transition and what that means. But you got somebody sitting to your right, Sarah Jordan, Operations Manager for Norfolk NATO Festival. And it's so much more than just that. I mean, I could go on. The level of enthusiasm and relevance that you've brought to the staff and to the direction by getting the youth involved has been tremendous, right?
It's one of the best things about the job.
It's cool, isn't it? Now, Eddie Woodward, they've brought you in. And just as the camera was about ready to go on, you said, what am I doing here? You are the Archivist Coordinator for the Norfolk Public Library?
Yes, sir.
Which means the Sargent Memorial Collection, right?
Correct.
Okay, so they brought all this stuff to you and said, make sense of it?
Well, Trish contacted me about 6 months ago with a sampling of the materials that she had, and it was very enticing, and so it led to another meeting and where she essentially donated, or they donated the rest of their materials.
I got it. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to say right up front, I'm going to make a very sexist comment. Has anybody brought you so many pictures of good-looking women?
No.
Because that's kind of what the early festival was about, was celebrating that NATO was here, but doing it really through the tradition of good-looking women.
Yeah, like prom queens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was kind of our debutante, wasn't it?
Yes, it was coming out. Every year there would be a most honored nation that was honored by the festival, the Norfolk's International Azalea Festival. And that nation had the queen, and then there was her court, which consisted of princesses, and then there was another court of attendants, and then by the 60s, the start of 1953, by the 60s, VMI was involved with their cadets acting as escorts, and one of the first cadets was our own Mayor Paul Frame.
You know, I ran across that picture one time and had the nerve to show it to him because I wasn't quite sure who it was in the picture. And he actually told me it was him with a lot of brown hair.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Now, when did VMI come in?
It was in the 60s. I'm not sure exactly when.
But it was a festival really built upon traditions.
Yes.
So you came on board as Executive Director when?
November of 2011.
Are you still being reminded of those traditions?
Yes. Well, I can't go anywhere without saying Norfolk NATO Festival, and people say, that sounds familiar. And then as soon as I say the Azalea Festival, oh, yes, my grandmother or my cousin or I was involved in that, or, you know, I have postcards from that, or I remember that. So there's a long history here in Norfolk. I think it's touched everybody, not just in Norfolk, but Hampton Roads. So, yeah.
Now, Eddie, that's kind of where you get tied in, because what I love about our Sargent Memorial Collection is so much of the collection has come from where?
Oh, from the people and from the organizations here in Norfolk, or in Hampton Roads, really. And so, I mean, I think it's like I was saying, I think that the collection that we've gotten from them is really important in documenting the history of the NATO Festival or the Azalea Festival from the 1990s onward. But I think what we were really trying to do is to appeal to the public to see if there are any other items or artifacts out there that can help us to document the history from its inception up until that transitional time in the 80s.
There's gotta be, because you get stopped in the street with...
All the time, all the time. And the Azalea Festival was actually a program that fell under the Chamber of Commerce, Norfolk's Chamber of Commerce. So it was a program of theirs. So there may be some materials located within their own archives, but there's a history of all kinds of things that people created in support of the festival, to include dolls, which we're looking for. So we have a special call out to the community of Hampton Roads. If you have any memorabilia or any artifacts, there were to include these dolls. Eddie here will accept them with open arms and safely store them. But apparently dolls were created to look like the queen that year. And there was a woman who actually made a miniature version of the exact dress. And they used to be.
I have seen those dolls.
Yes, they exist somewhere. We have no idea where they are, but they used to have them on display next to the queen's portraits at the Botanical Garden.
Yeah, there was one. I know that the Johnson's daughter, actually both daughters, I
Two.
think, were queens, and it is almost spooky how those dolls do look like those two girls.
Yeah.
Now, I had the pleasure, and this is kind of where the reminiscing comes in. I mean, I had the pleasure of being the PR chair when let me see, how would that work? Chuck Robb's daughter, so that would be nieces and nephews? I don't know. Archivists know that kind of stuff. Anyway, there's some relation to the Johnsons, and she was the queen that year. And yet her mom, that's it, mother-daughter. Her mom had been queen several years before that. So it's that kind of tradition. And it was apolitical, the Nixon daughters. And my favorite, and I had the chance to meet her, not original.
Not original.
The first one was?
Her name's Pat Priest. The picture on the far left.
And some of our viewers may recognize her. She wasn't dressed like that on the show, but the Munsters. But she came back for the 50th. And a really classy lady. And I remember her reminiscing about what Norfolk was like 50 years earlier, and she was just blown away. But she gave me the quote of the whole weekend. She's a commercial realtor, and she's, I wish I had invested. But is that the kind of wealth that you get out of being having an archive?
Well, sure. I mean, it's like I said, the archive is trying to document the history, not only the history, but the cultural heritage of Norfolk and Hampton Roads. So there's so many different aspects to the history and documenting it that way.
Now, when I first started doing the show, we used to refer to it as the Sargent Memorial Room. It's now the collection because?
Well, because it is a archive and special collections, and I think it's fair to say that the Sargent Memorial Collection is probably the premier collection here on the east coast of Virginia. I think it's fair to say that it is the premier local history and genealogy collection for the Hampton Roads region.
Now, some people are going to want us to say where they're located.
Well, it's in Slover Library, of course.
Right.
It's in the old Seaboard building. If you're looking at the new Slover Library, you can tell the old Seaboard building that's been there since 1899. And it's located on the second and third floor in there. And it really is a marvel as far as technology goes with the interactive photo gallery. I don't know if you've been there to see it.
Well, I was going to say, you took my line away because I love saying to an archivist the word swoop. Did you ever think you'd use that word in your field?
No.
Where you just swoop those pictures all over the place, right?
Exactly.
Cool.
And that's the other half of it too, is we've got a lot. The majority of the photographs that are available in the interactive gallery are from the Virginian Pilot Collection. And we've only really got a small fraction of those. About 7,000 are available online right now, but
Wow.
I think it's probably going to amount to about 80 or 100,000 when it's all finished.
Now, if I go through a trunk and to me it's just junk, you don't care?
No. And that's the reality is I like to tell people, give us everything, because it's been my experience in the past that very often donors, they want to weed the collection. They decide what they think we don't want. And I think it's better to give us everything and let us decide, because my experience in the past, again, has been, everyone thinks to give you the commemorative program or the yearbook, but they think that the ephemeral material, the bus schedule or the brochure is not of interest to you. So you get overloaded with commemorative programs and commencement invitations, but you wind up losing those items that really tell the day-to-day life of people. And
But
what
now
they're
it
doing.
might have that ring on it from where I sat my drink.
Well, that's the way it goes. It's a patina. We could
Is that what
say.
it is?
No, it's not. But we could say that.
Super. Let's talk about that bridge between the tradition and the future. How did you make that transition?
Well, we're still making the transition. So in 2009, the name was changed from the Azalea Festival to the Norfolk NATO Festival, and we actually suffered with the change because people thought that the Azalea Festival disappeared. So we're continually trying to remind everybody that we are still here. In fact, this is our 63rd year, and we are the original festival, the longest running festival. It was the only gig in town. You know, back in the 60s and 70s, that's one of the air shows was associated with the Azalea Festival. But as we're moving into the future, we are reaching out through our education programs. We have a Model NATO Challenge, we have the Youth Ambassador Program. In fact, the applications are online now for the Model NATO Challenge Scholarship Program. So if you go to our website, natofestival.org, it's available there. But we're also reaching out to industry to emphasize again the international influence that the command brings to Norfolk and Hampton Roads. It's the only NATO headquarters outside of Europe, and there were 12 NATO member countries back when the festival first originated in '53. Now there are 28. So the cultural diversity, the global opportunities, the festival and the headquarters itself truly make Norfolk a global city. So, and it always has been, all the way back to the Azalea Festival. And I think that's what people don't realize, how rich the history is. And when you have the daughters of reigning monarchies from Europe serving as the queens, it was international news in the 50s and 60s. And we're trying to get back into the international news again with what we do through our education and industry programs. So,
Sarah, I'm going to put you on the spot, because when you first got involved and heard about debutantes and coming out, did it have any reference point in your head?
Not at all, not at all. And I think that that's a big part of the reason why the festival has changed so much as culture has changed and moved away from the white glove society of the 50s, I guess.
Yeah, and it went from being 1 week. I can hear it now. So how would you like to join the staff here? We have a one weekend festival. Oh, by the way, Sarah, we're going to go 364 days a year in the schools, isn't that right?
Just as long as I'm not wearing the tiara, that's okay.
Which is right there on the table, I was told, and I'm not going to wear it either.
No, nope.
I want to congratulate the two of you for really making that transition and helping the community make the transition. And Eddie, thanks for helping us celebrate it. But we got to find some stuff.
Okay, that's what we're looking for.
Just like this.
There we go. And bus schedules or anything?
Anything, absolutely. And it's not, I mean, it's like I said, well, we won't even look at that, but there's so much rich history involved in the Azalea Festival prior to its reformatting that I think it's worth investigating and covering.
So I'm going to challenge every viewer to go through that trunk, dig through it, and give it all to Eddie. Thanks for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.